Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So we are flying out the F-16s, mainly the ADF and the Block 20 MLU, right? And we are on the bigger map, so I wanted to see if this aircraft actually can take the punch of the bigger maps. Because the radar is kind of limited. You know how the F-16 radar is. It doesn't have the most amount of range. It doesn't have HDN modes or anything like that. And the Sparrows, even though they are pretty alright, from long range they are pretty bad compared to the ER or the R-27, right? So I wanted to test it out to see how it would perform on it. Here we have a battle that I actually did some BVR, and then we are going to do a battle without BVR to actually how it performs. And to be honest, I see a lot of people, and basically the community in general, it is very divided in these bigger maps kind of situation right now. A lot of people for some reason liked the smaller maps before, and I really don't understand why, because yes, this is not perfect yet. We need more objectives for ground, we need more bases, we need more aircraft even to actually be able to have a more balanced gameplay maybe. But the thing is that before it was way worse, in my opinion at least, and especially for top tier. And I think they need to listen to the feedback, because people are actually complaining about the right thing. People are complaining about the way that the maps are against like these aircraft. For example, I'm in an F-16 fighting an F-4E, so obviously the F-4E will suffer a lot compared to me, right? So it depends on the BR, it shouldn't see these maps at all maybe, you know? And another thing is the map itself. I mean, it's still focused on the center, and it is hard to actually not go to the center of the map eventually, you know, and just try to kill the targets around that area. As you see here, I did the BVR, and you know that I am a big fan of BVR, but even then, I mean, I'm still fighting in kind of the middle of the map. But it isn't all bad, as you see here, and this is happening a lot of the times in the battles. If you play the game, really play the game, you will see that a lot of times the battle is a little bit divided, and it is a little bit more spread out. Sometimes normally it's like this, a lot of targets against few targets, which can bring some imbalance. So they need to focus on this type of thing to actually make it so that it is a little bit more spread out, but not being imbalanced. And especially with aircraft that are, you know, inferior in some area against this 4th generation. I feel like there isn't that many 4th generation per match. Apart from the F-14 and maybe the Mirage 2000, but the F-16 and the MiG-29 and the Yak, you see that the numbers of them are a little bit limited, and you see a lot of F-4s and MiG-23s and other aircraft. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but you do see a lot of power creep due to that. I don't know if it's an actual thing that they're limiting the 12.0 aircraft in each battle to try to limit this, but what is happening right now, or it feels like it is happening right now, is that you see just a few of these 12.0s fighting a lot of 3rd generation aircraft from lower BRs, which means what? It means that you see a lot of power creep, and it is very easy to actually fly these aircraft because you don't have a proper counter. Yesterday was the first day that I actually saw a lot of battles with more than just a few MiG-29s, for example, or F-16s. So maybe they are just messing with those settings and trying around. I still urge you guys to actually go to the community and on the forum specifically, because that's where they actually listen to the players, and give your feedback, because it is very much a work in progress, this thing. And I think even though it is in the right direction, it needs some improvements, and they will listen to the game, the feedback, because they even said it on the changelog that they are actually waiting for feedback to actually continue to do this or improve or whatever people want to do, right? So it is kind of up to the players to actually say what they want. Not that everybody knows what they want. A lot of people want the old crazy small maps matches that we have for 4 minutes and then it's done, which I think it's just crazy, because that's just, it's too much for me, man. It's a little bit more centered. I noticed that a lot of people are talking about how the increased players actually centered the players a little bit more, on the sense of having to fight more players in the same area, right? But you already had that on the smaller maps. So they're actually trying to do something. Maybe it's not the right thing yet, but with the feedback and stuff, we can actually improve on that. And yeah, it's just, it all comes down to that, to feedback and actually making what the actual players want from the game, right? But they needed to change something, and that's a very good thing, because the small maps were way too boring. The EC maps were like way too much as well. It was like 8 or 80 every single time that you play. It is too small or too big every single match. And the bigger maps that we have right now, this is not particularly a bigger map, but it was already kind of big compared to the other ones. And yeah, lag. Servers dying, but it already helps a little bit of the gameplay, and you can see that it is a little bit more spread out. Just a tiny bit. It needs to be focused on that, but we don't need, I don't want personally to go back to the smaller maps. Yes, it needs improvement, but go back to the smaller maps is just, I will probably stop playing top tier if that happens, because I actually wasn't playing the MiG-29 that I love so much due to that, because it was such a boring gameplay over and over with 3-minute battles and everybody kills each other from 3 kilometers, even though you have missiles from 40 kilometers. You have bombs that you can do on other stuff, you have missiles, you have everything, but you were forced to actually just play the same thing over and over again in like 5 maps, and it was not very fun. It really wasn't very fun. So yeah, this step in the right direction, but there are still improvements to be made. But don't throw everything out of the window yet, just because it is not perfect yet. It is going to be better, but we need to have a little bit of patience and help them with the feedback. On the F-16 side of things, it's a middle ground right now between a 3rd generation, to be honest, and a real 4th generation. Even though it's an amazing aircraft, in the dogfight and stuff, the nerfs that he had, it is kind of weird, and the radar is very limited for BVR, so I could see more F-16s coming very soon. We'll do a video on what I expect to see in the future of War Thunder, soon future, but I do think that we will see more versions of the F-16, because this is not the greatest thing ever. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think about my opinions, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys, see you.